Well, he was standing in a country where free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide. And he met with the head of a political party that has far-right views and some historic ties to extreme groups. The context of that was changing the tone of it. And you know that the censorship was specifically about the right.
No, I have to disagree with you. Free speech was not used to conduct a genocide. The genocide was conducted by an authoritarian Nazi regime that happened to also be genocidal because they hated Jews and they hated minorities and they hated those that they had a list of people they hated, but primarily the Jews. There was no free speech in Nazi Germany. There was none. There was also no opposition in Nazi Germany. They were a sole and only party that governed that country. So that's not an accurate reflection of history.
I don't know whether it's inspiring to me or disheartening how stupid / programmed our enemies are. Joining me now, my friend Sara Gonzales, host of Unfiltered on Blaze TV. It's a wonderful show, I might point out. And now VP of Texas Family Project. We'll talk to Sara about women in leadership in a moment. Before we get to that, Sara, the dirty communist Margaret Brennan, yes, she got scolded by Marco Rubio, but these people really are just genuinely programmed, aren't they? Just everything to the right of them is a Nazi.
Yes, 100%. I mean, you watch her try to struggle to complete a coherent sentence as she's talking to Marco Rubio. It's like you can see the two brain cells that she has barely rubbing together to create any sort of thought. I mean, it's incredible. These people go through 4 years, presumably, of journalism school, put themselves how many thousands of dollars in debt, and come out this dumb. It's incredible to see.
Sara, do you feel like, I know I feel like this right now, like we are winning. And I don't just mean, the Trump presidency and cleaning out some of the government. It feels global. Maybe it's a social media thing, I don't know, but it feels as if the authoritarian left is getting slapped around quite a bit right now. I'm not saying they're defeated, but it feels like they are searching for answers.
I would 100% agree with you. And I think that this all culminated. It began with Donald Trump winning the election because, when you're listening to the mainstream media, the Margaret Brennans of the world, all of these people who blowhards who go on TV and they wear a nice suit and tie. So you think that they know what they're talking about. And then they proceed to lie to not just the American public, but the world. And so I think that Donald Trump's election was really a wake-up call, not just to America, but to the world, that you cannot continue to lie to your people. You cannot continue to lie to your citizens. You cannot continue to not protect them like what is going on in the UK with all of these, terrorists rising up and taking to the streets. You can't continue to do that to a nation, to a people. You can only do it for so long before they stand up, they rise up, and they say no more. And so I think that we're going to see more of this. I think that Donald Trump's election and victory and what he has done since he's been into office, quite honestly, has been inspiring to the rest of the world to see.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. But in case people think I'm just getting too hopeful, we have so much work to do. As I've explained, you're happy about the clean out in the federal government. You have a lot of work state-wise and locally to do, even in your red state, which brings us to this video courtesy of Sara Gonzales. This is from a Cathedral of Hope church, allegedly, in Dallas, Texas. Here it was.
By the way, if any of y'all voted for Trump, please don't tell us. No, don't tell us. Or do, and do y'all sacrifice? Do y'all do that? Did we start? He voted for Trump?
No, I said the church is safe.
Okay, because I will. I went down to Austin like a year and a half ago with some other drag queens to, fist fight Greg Abbott, but he wouldn't stand up and fight me. And I'll be honest, I think the easiest thing that we can do with the money that we raise is just take away those wheelchair ramps and just not let him have access to the floor.
Oh, lovely. Sara, what did I just watch?
What you just watched, Jesse, was a benefit. It was a fundraiser, a drag brunch fundraiser for the Cathedral of Hope Church. And this was, by the way, I'd like to point out, this was taking place yesterday on Sunday after their church service, in which they dedicated the entire service to drag queens. And they brought up the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Yes, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Of course, the organization that has had multiple people convicted on things like child pornography and masturbation in front of, the public. And so you had the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, the Dallas Bears, okay? And at one point there was, I'm not kidding, a man in a pup mask and pup gear crawling around on all fours on the floor while the congregation clapped for all of them. And this was all led by a drag king preacher, a woman with a Sharpie beard, talking about how important it was that everyone know how and why she does drag. I mean, the whole thing was a total abomination. It was downright evil. I got to tell you, that was a church of something, but certainly not Christ.
I feel like I need the longest, hottest shower in the world right now. I'm so freaking grossed out. Hey, Sara, tell me about this Texas Family Project. I see you're the vice president. What's going on there?
Yeah, you can just call me Madam Vice President, Jesse. No, I'm kidding. So Texas Family Project is this is what we're doing here in the state of Texas. I already had teamed up with them for our Defend Our Kids Texas project, and this one I just took kind of a further leap into making sure that we strengthen families here in the state of Texas, whether it be protecting children from what you just saw right there, or pornographic literature in school libraries, and just protecting children, protecting families at the state level. Because as you pointed out, Jesse, I think a lot of people take for granted that they live in the state of Texas and they think, oh, we're red, and so nothing bad can happen to us. But there are really egregious things happening here in the state of Texas to Texas children. School choice is another thing, and so we are really leaning hard into making sure that Texas children are not just protected, but they're equipped with what they need in order to, survive. And so that is what we are doing. And this is just some of the work that we are doing here in the state of Texas, if nothing else than to expose the demons for who they really are.
Can people help with this kind of thing, Sara? Because this is the exact kind of thing people need to do everywhere, not just in Texas, but I'm glad you're doing it here. People have to get involved. You can't just sit back and watch Trump and J.D. Vance slap the communists around. How do people get involved? Can they get involved?
Yeah, of course they can. So, I mean, we started this this was a total grassroots thing in which I literally was scouring for all of the abominations that we put out, the drag show for the drag queen story hour, the drag show for kids, all of these things. It's all accessible to you when you go to, event websites and you try to search for these things. Show up, film it, expose it, get it to me. I'll help you blow it up. There are plenty of people who we want to work together with these people to make sure to blow these things up, to expose the depravities that are going on in whatever state you're in. So if they're in Texas and they want to help, they can go to TexasFamilyProject.com and either sign up to get involved, or, we'll take your donations as well, because this all takes money. And I think that so often conservatives, they think to themselves, well, I just want to, live and let live. I'm just going to keep my family and take care of my family and not worry about the rest of it. And meanwhile, this is what culture has turned into, even in a red state. So wake up, people, get involved locally. It takes so little of your time to just shine the light on the darkness.
Yeah, you cannot live and let live your way out of communism. All right, finally,
Nope.
Speaking of blowing things up, let's talk about Ukraine. I saw Zelensky got a standing ovation from senators. Here he was.
How are you? How you doing? Hi. Good to see you, pal.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
You look good. How's it going?
Really?
How you doing?
Yes.
Hang in there.
Thank you.
Got a lot of friends here.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for this.
I did see John Cornyn, senator from the red state of Texas, there getting the vapors as he met Zelensky. He's also got a primary coming next year, Sara. Is this finally the year we remove that human barnacle from the Senate?
I got to tell you, if it's not 2026, then we're done here, right? I don't even know what we're doing here, because the American people are sick to death of this America Last agenda, where people like John Cornyn and Lindsey Graham are so concerned with matters that have nothing to do with us and not concerned at all with the American people. And if we can't get something like this right here in the state of Texas, I really don't know what we're doing here. I am trying to encourage our Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, to maybe throw his name into the ring. I think that he would be a really good primary opponent of John Cornyn. But I mean, look, when you're talking about someone as bottom of the barrel as John Cornyn, if we can't find anyone to threaten his candidacy, that does not speak well for the state of Texas. I really think this is going to be the time. America is fully ready to go all full out America first. You saw that with the election. You see that with the polling that's come out since. Every single measure that Donald Trump has taken to lean more into putting America first, the American people are very happy about. So I can't imagine that John Cornyn, as much as he tries to cozy up to Donald Trump now because he knows it's politically advantageous to him, I don't think Texans are going to put up with it anymore.
Amen. Sarah, come back soon as always. Thank you, man. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.